What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-Hop Radio. Shout in as always. I got my podcast partner off in this thing. OG Gangsta Wicked, a.k.a. Big Galaxy of Ghetto Mafia.
What's going on, big guy? Happy Monday to you, man.
Man, happy Monday, man. Happy belated Father's Day to you too as well. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out here in these streets. And we had a crazy weekend in America, man. I mean, it was going down all over the place. So now, we had the No Kings protest going on.
Right.
You had the Trump parade going on.
That's two.
Then you had the senator and the representative out of Minnesota that were killed over the weekend.
Three.
And then you also had somebody that was killed at the No Kings protest as well.
Four.
And then you had the guy that was the suspect in the shooting in Minnesota. He was caught. And then, lastly, you got Iran and Israel. They going back and forth overseas.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This was. Hey, we need to come up with a name for this weekend. This was one of the worst weekends that I've seen in a long, long time. Some people might say that it was half and half. It was kind of good on one side and then bad on other side. But this was it was an interesting weekend. Was
Most
what I would say.
That.
What stuck out to me was pretty much all 5 things that you just said.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna really get into the war per se, but it's going on. Also Israel and Iran, but I don't know a lot about that. I'm not a political scholar.
Yeah,
but I am a street scholar and a moral scholar.
Yeah.
So I would say that what really jumped out to me was the protest, the No Kings protest up against Donald Trump's birthday and his army celebration.
Okay.
And of course the senators getting killed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you already have political tap dancing going on both sides. One thing we do, that I love about coming in here is I know that you and I are not going to tap dance on one side. Exactly. We can get on one side or the other.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, but jumping out there first on the No Kings protest. What jumped out to me about the No Kings protest is coming off of last week, the sheriff of Florida. I'm gonna tie this all in, and he was speaking to the Latino community. When he was talking about the if you come down to Florida, I forget the county. And we'll kill you graveyard dead if you point a gun, throw a brick, blah 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 blah. And with the No Kings protest, one thing I want to say too, behind white people, white people are crazy.
Oh yeah.
White people coming off of the sheriff saying that.
Yeah.
White people just came out in droves. They were like, "Well, God damn it, Bob, he's gonna have shows.
Yeah.
We're coming down. We're coming down there anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, they came out of every single city.
Yeah.
Like you said, someone did get killed. But what jumped out to me was that. When I don't want to say they were rioting, but when they protest, it doesn't seem like the same energy if the black and brown people protest.
Yeah.
That jumped out to me.
Yeah.
When I saw the protests going around Chicago, Philly, LA, everywhere else, I noticed. I said, well, sheriff just said that if you come down here playing, this is how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
So now when I'm looking at these protests, I'm noticing that 90% of them are white.
Yeah.
So it's white on white.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? This wasn't a cause for us, for blacks, for Rodney King, or, George Floyd, or this wasn't a Latino, the ICE raids. This was us saying, no to Trump.
Yeah.
And that was mostly whites.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, I was glued to the TV to say, I want to see if they're going to have the same energy.
Yeah.
Is Trump going to, send the Marines down there to start busting and spraying and everything else, like as if it was us, you know what I'm saying, protesting.
Yeah, 20,000 blacks showing up somewhere.
Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? Which, no. But I thought that was interesting. With the birthday celebration for the Army, I have family members that were in the Army. They have retired from the Army. I got some young ones that are still in the Army.
You got on your Army green today?
Absolutely, down in Fort Benning.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? So I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at the parade. I did, and maybe I'm probably wrong.
Yeah.
I thought that, okay, you celebrating the Army 250 years, which was good. I saw that it rained on if you want to say it rained on Trump's parade. I thought that that Trump showed a lot of his strength, his power.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say this the right way without offending anyone, but I thought that that Trump showed the world his power, and also I looked at it as a recruiting tool for the Army.
It was definitely a recruiting
tool. that a lot of that it was put together not just to show the history of the Army, but two other things to show the technology of the future, that hey, we still here with the robot dogs, everything, blah blah blah, but to get young men and women to sign up right now. So that's what was taken that I took away from that particular from the Army celebration. Going over to the two senators.
Well, let me go ahead and break down that story too.
Break that down.
Now you got Vance Boelter, the suspect in the shootings of the two Democratic Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses, was arrested on Sunday after what a local police chief called the largest manhunt in the state's history. Now, he does have murder charges. Boelter, he was 57 years old, and he's charged with 2 counts of each of second-degree murder and second-degree attempted murder. A criminal complaint states, and lawmakers that were targeted, they include State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Saturday at their home, wounding State Senator John Hoffman and his wife at their home. After the first attack, police proactively checked Hortman's home, where they found a shooter posing as an officer before he fled. And long story short, they also said that they don't have a motive as of yet, but the suspect had an apparent hit list with dozens of names, officials said. The list includes prominent Democrats and figures with ties to Planned Parenthood or the abortion rights movement. The shootings unfolded on a tense day in national politics as tens of thousands participated in the No Kings protest. And against the Trump administration, and the president hosted a military parade. So that's basically what was going on. Vance Boelter, he shot and killed one lawmaker and shot the other one.
I thought he killed killed both of them.
He killed
the parents,
Melissa Hortman and her husband. They both died.
Correct.
And then the other man and his wife, they were both shot but they didn't die.
Gotcha. Now, what killed me? What was very sad? Of course, let's take away that 2 people died and 2 people got shot. That was that made it. That goes without saying that was horrific. But what was equally as horrific was right after it was over, the political theater that followed. Republicans immediately said it was the Democrats. I even have seen Republicans, and I'm gonna get on the Democrats also. I've seen Republicans say that the Democrats sent him to kill their own Democrats that believe in the same thing that believe in opposite of what he believe in. You understand what I'm saying? I've seen people that say that it had to be the Republicans. Instead of us come together and the parties, not us as regular people, because we out here, we just worry about paying our bills. And we're unbiased. We get all this theater from each side immediately that doesn't care about us at all. You understand what I'm saying? And here's a few facts so the people can make their own decision. His name was Boelter, correct? Boelter. Okay, he was a registered Republican. He did vote for Trump. He worked a private security contractor. His hit list included Tim Walz on the list and others, abortion activists. And he followed anti-LGBT groups and stuff on Facebook. So those are things that are being said about him on the Democratic side. Now, my thing is this right here, Beehive. If you are a regular person out, just a regular person like you and I out here, what are we to believe? Mm-hmm. What are we to take away from this? I think that when what kills the community the most is when the Republicans and the Democrats, they start pointing fingers at each other and they're making us choose sides. It creates more of this. Yeah. See, so they already jockeying for which side to blame. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So now if the Republican says Democrats and we can get you to believe that, then you're going to have people that follow the Democratic or sympathetic to the Democratic Party now are doing future crimes against Republicans. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Against MAGA. Yeah. Now, if the opposite way, if they can make it believe that it's the Democrats, then you'll have MAGA people doing crimes against people that they feel like are following the Democratic agenda, and then so it's just a revolving Snowball. Wheel. Absolutely, just on and on and on, and it's never going to stop. That's right. That's what I take away from everything. You and I can sit here right now and say that. What happened to the senators was horrible, and it's gonna be people that come in. Man, y'all riding with the Democrats. See, they got you fooled. They got you fooled, Beehive. Yeah. No, what we're saying is 2 people got killed at their home, and it's fucked up. Exactly. But you can't say that. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? That means you ride with the Democrats. Yeah. If you say that, well, what I just read right there. Oh man, you ride with the Republicans. You're trying to say. Yeah. It's just never ending. It's never ending. So, the political climate that we're in, we're coming off the ice raids behind. Mm-hmm. We're coming off that. You sent me some stuff the other day. Last week, a lot of people went in on you because you were trying to, the point that you were trying to make is that if an injustice to one person is an injustice to all. I got that point. Yeah. And then I turn right around and I look and I see that they were locking up a lot of Latinos that were documented. Yeah. So I had a little egg on my face. I'm still not going to go out there and fight for them. Yeah. You understand? That was my issue.
You ain't heard the part where there's been some black folks getting locked up now too because they've been confusing them with immigrants too.
Absolutely.
And I just stepped into our playing field.
I get that. And as I digested everything from the conversations last week about the ICE raids, as I digested that, because sometimes we sitting here talking, man, we coming from the hip. Yeah. We pulling right from the hip. You know what I'm saying? And as you're trying to get your message off, your ears close up. Yeah. It's almost like when a fish go in the water, the eyes open up, down, shit. But we as we're talking, a lot of times the ears close, and you know what I'm saying, and we kind of, the mouth gets bigger. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I take a lot of this stuff and I go home and I digest it. And I understood what you were saying. Oh yeah. And a lot of people in the comments, they understood what you were saying. Oh yeah. What they were just saying is that we as in the black community have our own problems. Yeah. And that we're not worried about guns and stuff or our civil rights being violated because they are continuously being violated. They've never stopped. That's right. So we are immune to it. So therefore, we're not going to get shamed or scared or, hey man, if you don't stand up for the Latinos, then they could turn the guns on you. When all us blacks are looking at the guns, are already pointed at us now. That's right. And they never went away from us. Yeah. So that don't work. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that was the point from our last week's conversation. But this entire weekend, big guy, it was one of the wildest weekends of all time. I'm glad they caught
Boelter.
The clown. I can't even say his name. I'm glad they caught him.
Yeah.
I thought the parade was, was a recruit. The summarizer was a recruitment tool for the Army, which isn't bad. I think that there was somebody that did get shot. One of the protesters got shot at the No Kings protest. I think that that was fucked up. I'm gonna have to go dig a little bit more into that to kind of see, because they didn't have a lot of information on that. Yeah. But I think that in totality, if I had to summarize this entire weekend, that it was just wild, and I think that the country is in chaos. Yeah, that's what I would sum it up with. I think that we are in chaos, and I think that every group and ideologies are trying to surface. Yeah, and everybody's trying to yell over the next person. Yeah, and say, hey, this is what I believe. No, this is what I believe. No, this is what I believe. Yep. And if you don't believe that, then we're ready to die for it.
Yeah. And see, also at this time right now, we got some elections on the way too, Wick. So, I think it's imperative for everybody to pay attention to exactly what's going on and where your community leaders are falling on each side of these situations that's going on, so that we can speak with our right to vote in the fall when it's time to move people around and move people into place or get people out the way, so that we can make sure that stuff is going like it needs to go. Correct. Because right now, like you said, it is a lot of chaos going on in America, not to mention what they got going on internationally with the war between Israel and Iran right now. And they saying that, we hoping that America don't get involved in what's going on. They hoping that Trump, bring folks to the table to make a deal to bring it back on in. But hopefully we don't get drugged into a war overseas as well. Correct. So now you looking like you got a war that might spark off overseas. Then you got propaganda going on over the weekend as a recruitment tool to bring everybody in. We don't know what we getting ready for around here. So the whole thing is, now we got to keep the peace and figure out a way to really just, bring it all the way in and get clarity in the country, so that we can make sure that, we can make this a place to where we can raise our kids, get education, start businesses, and make money and be happy.
Right. One question I wanted to ask you, and I thought about this over the weekend as I'm flipping from channel to channel, saying all these different things play out. We have to to recognize, and that's everybody out there, that a lot of this stuff happens when Trump is in office. Okay. Now, my question to you: is it good for the country, for the that we're having these talks, that these protests go on, that Trump moves the needle to make us uncomfortable, and it'll make us better down the line for it? Or is it bad for the country? Should we just ignore these problems and say, you know what, let's just keep the peace, even though I don't like you because you white, or you Latino, or you black, or you Chinese, or you, even if I don't, it's better for me just not to say it. And we kind of go back to status quo of every group of people looking out for themselves and trying to get as much as they can for just that community? Or are these protests, all these conversations that are uncomfortable that Trump seems to bring to the office when he's in there, do you think these conversations will make us better in the future?
I'm hoping that they do. I think that a lot of times the question is, will we be able to actually reach Trump to have these conversations with him to get our agendas pushed at the same time? So now this is where we had the issues again. So now we want to have these conversations, but then when Kanye go and talk to Trump, we get pissed off. When Ice Cube tried to talk to Trump, we get pissed off. Right. So the conversations are there and willing and ready to be had, but we won't even let our people cross the line to have the conversation to make anything better for us, because we just want to hold our shit to ourselves and have our hands crossed all the damn time.
So we feel like if And I noticed that too. If one of our black, whether it's a entertainer or a basketball player or anybody goes in to talk to the administration, he's automatically labeled a coon. Yeah. Which I didn't get that.
Well, we can't do that no more. See, the bottom line is that's just not smart thinking no more. Correct. It used to be okay where you could just say, but nowadays it's like, man, folks need help. and we need somebody to go and get us some help, and we need some change going on around here. This the administration that we got. We need some kind of representation inside that administration to make stuff better for the people on the ground right now.
Correct.
So, you know, we don't have time for somebody to be raising hell. That's the other thing. You know, you can have people trying to make progress and make change, but then you got so much noise in between the folks that's actually trying to move the needle and folks that ain't even trying to move the needle, but they just got a lot to say and they want to ridicule and raise hell. Right. So we have to make sure that we are ignoring the right people too and listening to the right people, because if somebody's trying to tell you no, but that's what you need to go without trying to be a rapper, you know, you need to be able to do that shit without folks on your damn back.
Right.
If Ice Cube is trying to get a Cadillac plan for every damn body, we need to be able to get that plan done. We need to be able to get something out of this administration instead of nothing out of the administration.
Correct.
So you rather sit back and look crazy for 4 years straight rather than get something out of the deal?
Right.
You know, so that's where I'm at with it. And then it's across the board. A lot of the stuff that's impacting us is impacting everybody in that same class, whether you be white, black, or brown, or Asian, or anything. So the whole thing is that if you could get everybody in that class to say, hey man, in this tax bracket, this is what we're going through and this is what needs to change in order for us to be able to sustain the kind of living that we want to have in America, then white, black, and everybody else and brown need to be able to come together up under one accord to figure out how to get that done. But when we're separated in different silos, I mean, we ain't gonna be able to get nothing done.
Right. I want to end on this with all my Latino brothers and sisters. Because there was a lot of them over the weekend that, from our conversations last week, they have come in my DM, said they're disappointed in old Wick. They felt like, serious? No, it's dead serious. They felt like, because I have Latino friends, you know what I'm saying? Mexican American partners, Puerto Rican partners, you know what I'm saying? They act just as black as us, you know what I'm saying? But and they felt like that by me saying, you know, overall, the black community does not want to go out there and get in front of tanks and missiles and guns and AK-47s because we feel like y'all didn't stand up for us. So, you know, a lot of them didn't hear that message. What they heard from Wicked is, you know, oh man, Wick, you ain't down there. You know, you're throwing us under the bus. You're selling us out. You know what I'm saying? You're a fake friend. You don't care about us. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, for the record, I feel like, you know, that they're probably, you know, the Dems maybe led over 10 million people, Republicans and Dems, we'll just say the Dems, over the years. You know, you may got 10, 15 million undocumented immigrants in this country. My personal feeling, these aren't feelings of me just sitting here debating with you and speaking from both sides. I feel like a lot of, you know, that most of them are good people. That a lot of them deserve amnesty. That, you know, that if you come over here and you work for 15 years and you've made a family for yourself and
ain't been breaking no laws.
You ain't broke no laws, you have no criminal records, you don't have a few kids, you know what I'm saying, and you have, you know, if you're rooted yourself in the soil here, that, you know, amnesty should be on the table. That I feel Trump shouldn't be trying to send around raids just to, you know, sitting outside of a Home Depot and harassing every single Latino or Mexican or even some, you know, us. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I need to see everybody's paperwork. First of all, we don't have the infrastructure for that. I mean, our courts are already backed the fuck up.
Come on.
You understand what I'm saying? Going to jail as a black man right now, you're sitting on an average of 2 years waiting to go to trial for stuff, for things. There are guys that I know right now that are in jail and they'll stay in jail for 18 months and then the state will decide, hey, you know what, I'm gonna throw it out. There wasn't enough evidence, but reason you had to sit for so long because we were so bagged up. So now you want to add 10 million, undocumented, you know what I'm saying, immigrants to that when a lot lot of these, we can say, you know what? We can go down a checklist, put agencies in places. Hey, this person right here, they have no criminal record at all.
Yeah.
They've been here for 15, 20 years. They've got married.
Yeah.
They have Mexican American kids, Latino kids.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a person that we could, they can apply for amnesty. We could have them, they could come into this agency. We could interview them, blah blah blah. Give them and move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Exactly.
Because
going back to work.
Correct. Go back to work. Go back out there to whatever you've been doing and live your life and keep being a great citizen.
In peace.
So in peace.
Yep.
So I want all my Latino, partners out there to understand that when I'm speaking for the black, because I am a black man. So when I said I still stand on that when we had George Floyd fights, when we had Ahmaud Abram and all these different fights, Trayvon Martin, when a Latino, when Zimmerman killed Martin, and none of the Latino community stood up and said, hey, that was wrong.
Yeah.
Zimmerman, that was wrong. No, a lot of them gave him cover.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Or just to turn their back to it. So of course, as a black man, I'm gonna say something about it. If that offends a Latino, if that makes you upset about it, because I am gonna speak out for my people, then that's just what it is. Yeah. But I don't. I want everybody to understand that, and I'm going back to what you said because I digested over the weekend. We are, instead of us fighting each other, we right now, bruh.
Come on. This ain't the time for that.
This ain't the time
for that, because when all hell gets to breaking loose and everybody's in their own silos, you just gonna get picked off one by one.
Correct.
If everybody were to come together and say no, stop, then guess what? Stuff stops. And stuff changes.
But they have to. But like I said, to my Latino brothers and sisters, what I'm saying, let this be a wake up call to the community there too. That what I'm saying. When you sit around saying that's a black problem, and your leaders from back home say, what I'm saying, the Negro problem is his problem. Then you have to stand up for us right there and say, no, it's our problem. Exactly. If you expect us
to do the same.
Other than that right there, then everybody go to their corners.
Exactly. And my thought process is, once again, like a threat to injustice anywhere is a threat to everybody. Right. So my thing is, if you start to see them injustices happening, it's only a matter of time before they make their way to your doorstep. So what I say is, in the same breath, there's a lot of black folks out here, Wick. Right. Everybody ain't got to do the same job.
Right.
You can send 4 or 5 black folks over there to just police the ICE situation, see what the hell's going on. 4 or 5 black folks over there to police the living situation of just black folks. You got enough black folks to organize and send to different demonstrations to different situations to make sure that there's a hand in everything that's going on.
So we just need to put our hand in it.
We
don't need to be the face of it, is what you're saying.
I ain't talking about getting shot.
Right.
I'm talking about saying, hey man,
being nosy.
You gotta be nosy. Be like, wait a minute, they're separating kids and parents on it? No, this ain't right.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Then go to the lawmakers and say, hey man, we got to change the laws and make it to where everybody's being treated right, because the whole thing is, when it comes back home, man, it's gonna be ugly for everybody.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but and I'm gonna say it to my Latino brothers. You heard what the man said that y'all expect us to do? You gotta do the same thing. Ain't no pimping going on out here.
Oh, exactly. And that's just what it is. Fam, hit the comments. Let us know how you feeling, man. And let's join the debate, join the discussion, join all that good stuff.
What was ask the people what was their biggest takeaway from the weekend?
Y'all heard it, man. What did y'all get out of this weekend? How do you feel about where America's going and where we are at right now?
That's right.
And give us some predictions. Yep. Be Hot Radio, shout it, Big Galaxy. Holla at y'all in a minute, man. We gone.